Hello and welcome everybody. I am Bonnie Bruder and you are watching the Ask Bonbon Show, real conversations about what matters most, where we bring you the people and the tools to create yourself. We have back by popular demand, Julie Renee Doring, and she is going to fascinate you with her work. She is an author, a speaker, she teaches workshops, she works with the quantum field, she pretty much does it all, and you're not gonna believe how old she is. I thought she was my age, but she's not. So, welcome back, Julie. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
She's 58. Can you believe it? In real years, not like Ginger's 42.
No, I'm in dog
years.
that's dog years.
But I thought you might have some sort of quantum like that goes the other way. 58 means 24 or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, that's interesting because that's kind of the age that I imagine myself to reversing to. So yeah.
That's so funny. It's funny you say that, and we'll get right into you. I always, in my mind, think I just got out of college. Like in my mind, I'm like, oh yeah, but I just got out of college like 20 years ago. So I'm about the same mindset as you.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Well, it works. It's working for us.
It does work. So for the viewers that didn't catch your first show and you're back by popular demand, tell us a little bit about your work and what you do.
Yeah, I work with the quantum field and the human blueprint. And the human blueprint is actually your original design, the design that you were created from. And so eons ago, human spirits wanted to live in a human body, wanted a more full, richer experience. And designers, whether you want to call it the Supreme Being or God, or you want to say there were some beautiful beings who worked on a design, we have an incredible design. And can be remembered by an acronym, PEMER, P-E-M-E-R, perception, which are thought forms. And in the Bible it says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was with God. And so we know that first, even before spirit, there were words and thought forms forming. And then there was spirit, and we call that essence, or your essential nature, which is spirit, soul, life force, and high self. And that's your light body, so to speak. Then we have matter, everything physical, so the cells and even the DNA. And then we have energy. And now energy, sometimes people think that your aura and your chakras and things like that are part of spirit, but they're actually formed out of your physical body. Your DNA actually programs your energy body to grow. Wow. So, and then we have realms that support the human blueprint. So that is the blueprint itself. And then the realms are Genesis, which is life out of nothing, embodiment, actually the ability for spirit to live in body, and then we move into the quantum realm, which is particles, vibrating world, part of this field, and we can rearrange those particles to improve our life. And finally, the field of amplification, which is the law of attraction field. So whatever you're really expanding on and thinking about, if you're thinking negative thoughts, you're going to be expanding negative. But if you're thinking positive thoughts, you're going to be expanding all good.
I love that. You know, I love that you touch on the law of attraction because I feel like as a common denominator, that's what most people are familiar with. And when I was listening to you speak, I thought, wow, there's so much more to it. There's all these different layers and all these different echelons. So it's great. It's great to learn that. So tell us about your books.
Okay. The big book is Your Divine Human Blueprint. And how I actually started writing that book was scientists and doctors were watching me. And if you look at videos of me, because I started putting videos up on YouTube 7 years ago, I look ancient compared to what I look like now. I was just starting to understand, my body was just starting to regenerate. But the doctors and scientists who were friends of mine in my world were saying, what is going on with you? You know, how are you doing this? And they were insisting, please write something, please teach us. And so they were responsible for me both writing Your Divine Human Blueprint, which is 558 pages, and also to that first apprentice program, the first time I started really teaching people over the course of a year. I designed a course for the scientists and doctors. So we really are so grateful to those scientists and doctors who forced me to write it down on what is happening. So that book is jam-packed, loaded with, this is how it's all done. And there's actually a chapter on curing autism in the book. There's a chapter on restoring joy in the body after a brutal assault. I mean, like really what happens to the body. But covering all the glands and the organs and the systems and the DNA and the spirit and, cover so much in a big book like that.
Wow, amazing. So you obviously have an incredible story, and just for people that may not have caught the first episode, I would love to have you just give kind of the, I hate to call it a nutshell because you've been through so much and you've overcome so much, but I want people to understand a little context of why you do what you do. So can you tell our viewers just a little bit about what you've overcome?
Yeah. I literally survived the atomic bomb testing in the Nevada desert as a child. We were on vacation, a family vacation in the desert. And from that radiation poisoning, I had terminal cancer twice. I had follicular thyroid cancer with papillary tendencies, and I had cervical cancer. And had 10 years of radiation, 2.5 years of my life in a hospital bed, fighting for my life. I was in a wheelchair for a year, told I would never walk without canes, in unbearable pain. And just a real challenging, very, very difficult life. And there was a point 7 years ago where I really couldn't take any more pain. My body, I had lost all the nucleus in my cells, so I had some rare disease where the nucleus was eaten out of the cells. And so the pain receptors were on full blast every minute of the day, if you can imagine that. I was on fentanyl patch, which is kind of like a morphine drip, and sometimes I had 2 of those. I would up to 9 Vicodin a day, 2,000 milligrams of an anti-inflammatory, 3 tranquilizers, and then they had some experimental hormones they were using just to control the pain. So the pain was just unbearable. I was like, how can you even live in that body? And there was never a prognosis that I would live. They were just trying to give me some kind of life for the time that I was alive. And I said, I can't stand this. I feel like an idiot. I don't have my mind anymore. I don't have any control of myself. I'm just like totally drugged out. So I stopped. I cold turkeyed, went through drug withdrawals from all those drugs, cold turkeyed.
Wow.
And I did it at home alone. Was in the hot, warm bathtub and singing to myself, and I got through it. I did it in about 9 days. And then I was in a lot of pain. And I was in a lot of pain for a long time. And there was a point where I was like, I can't take it anymore. God, either take me or make me well. You promised me the Garden of Eden. And I'm really living in hell on earth. And I went into my garden with a firm resolve that there was going to be a miracle. Either I was going to leave my body, and I didn't want to die, but I was going to leave this painful body. So I was going to ascend to heaven, or I was going to get better. And the very first day, prayer and meditation, a couple hours of chanting and praying, all of a sudden I saw my cells starting to reorganize themselves. And one master cell, a stem cell that was with me 7 days after my parents conceived me, a director cell that had all the information of me, started to regenerate. And it went to its God state. And in its God state, it was so incredible. It was, it went to this like pulsing blue orb. And I began to regenerate. My body began to regenerate. And from that, within a couple weeks, I was without pain. Within 6 months, I was running on a mountain 30 miles a week. I was dancing on stage with a rock and roll band. Things that the doctors had said, you will never run again. You'll barely walk.
Right.
Don't get yourself worked up about not dancing anymore. It's not going to happen. And here I was just proving them wrong in every way.
You know, it's interesting. We've had probably 5 or 6 guests on our show, I would say, that have been given a similar path to follow, and all of them said, like, one went on to become like a world champion martial arts fighter. Like, it's just the craziest stories, and it's so reassuring for people, I think, that are watching that are struggling with challenges, or, you know, one of the probably 27,000 things that you've listed. It's so inspiring to see that just because somebody tells you that doesn't make it so. You know,
Exactly.
It doesn't make it your path. So.
Exactly.
Great.
And you know, in the big book, I have to say, there are 1,000 stories. There are miracle stories about all the people I've worked with over the last 20 years. So there are miracle after miracle after miracle, and it's really quantifiable. You can see how the miracle happened. You know? So.
Wow. So what's next for you? I know you're doing a lot of workshops. Tell our viewers just a little bit about what you have coming up and where they can find you.
Okay, fantastic. I have online classes regularly, so you can just come into the website, julierenee.com, and there's lots of free gifts for you when you come. So I encourage you to just jump over to julierenee.com and join me on the website. And then from there, we have a year-long program. We have a second edition book release coming up on your Divine Human Blueprint. There's a lot of good stuff. We're really focusing on building our global audience, and with that, we're making classes available to everybody around the world at a really reasonable tuition, so everybody can join in.
Love it. Well, thank you so much for being here. I know you had a long flight and many facets in your journey to get here, so thank you for making it happen.
It's really been such a pleasure. And Bonnie, I just want to acknowledge you for the light you are in the world. You are a beacon of light and joy and hope for so many people.
Thank
you so much for what you do.
Oh, thank you. That means a lot to me. Thank you
You're
so
welcome.
much. Yes, and we have a question for you watching this video. We want to know what your biggest challenge is and what you've had to overcome. So comment below. Make sure to subscribe, because if you loved this video, and we know that you did, there are hundreds more waiting for you on our YouTube channel. So just subscribe, and we'll send you one every week. You don't even have to do a thing. Thank you so much, and we will be right back with another incredible author.